Hey, it's Brian with Reclaimed Republic. If this is your first time here, I'm a full-time eBay reseller who sells everything from toys and tools to clothing, pots, pans, and just about anything in between. Today's video, we're going to be talking about sales from last week, which is January 6th through 12th. We're going to talk about the worst 5 sales right out of the gate. Then we're going to talk about the best 5 sales. And we're also going to talk about a really easy way to get into selling on eBay. Let's get into the details. Well, in case you're here because you saw the thumbnail and you wanted to know one of the easiest ways to get into selling on eBay, we're going to knock that out first and then we'll get into the sales portion. So one way to really get started very easily selling on eBay is to sell stuff that you have around the house. This isn't a new concept. It's something that I've done from time to time throughout my selling on eBay for the past 6 to 7 years. But I've done it a lot recently, and it just really brought to mind that it's something that I should share in case people haven't gone down that path. You don't have to go out and buy a bunch of stuff to get started selling on eBay. I'd wager that just about anybody can walk around their house and find stuff they're not using anymore, and they may not think they have value selling them online, but they probably do. So you're going to see all of these things popping up all over the screen right here. My wife and I have been kind of decluttering around the house, and we found all of these things in cabinets, boxes, different places around the house, and have sold them all in the past about 2.5 weeks for a total, after all the fees, the shipping, and everything, for $220. That's pre-tax profit. We'll pay taxes on that, so we'll end up, giving about an extra $60 of that to the government. But so you're left with about $160 that you can then use to go reinvest in inventory at thrift stores, garage sales, estate sales. Especially if you can get out to garage sales, that $160 will take you a long way. And if you go to the last day of an estate sale where things are half to 75% off for $1 a piece, that can take you a long way to putting good inventory in your store to really accelerate the growth. So if you want to get started selling on eBay, or you're running into an inventory problem, getting some inventory, look around your house, see what you have that you might not be using, that you can let go of, and has value to it. It is important that it has value, so all the items that I had, that I showed there, I did look them up, and there were plenty of items that we're donating that we didn't put on eBay because there was no value to them on eBay. So it's just a real easy way to get started and without laying out a bunch of cash to get going. So if you have any other ideas or have any feedback about that, definitely leave that in the comments below. I'll make sure to respond, and anybody else that sees the comments, feel free to respond. It's really a community of eBay resellers, and we want to make sure that everybody has success. As we get into this week's sales, let's look at some of the details. So there were 30 sales this past week for a total of $580.03. And then after the shipping, platform fees, ad fees, cost of goods, all in, came out to a $326.60 pre-tax profit, or a 56% profit margin. Now the profit margin is pulled down just slightly because I had a few personal items I sold this week that whenever I sell them, I zero out the profit. So it pulled that profit margin down just a little bit. In reality, it's probably 58 to 60% this week, but that's where it landed. Good week overall. Definitely sold, more than 1% of my inventory for the week. So happy to see that that trend continuing. The number one source this week of products that sold was estate sales. So I had 16 of the 30 items sold were from estate sales. 18 or 60% of the items sold were sold on a promoted listing, and then 8 of the items, or 27%, were sold on an offer that I made to a prospective buyer. So whenever I'm looking to keep my sales up, everything's already promoted just about anyhow, but on my offers, I'm making sure to work those really good. This past weekend, starting last Thursday, I went on a spree and listed 75 items over the course of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which really paid off. Whenever I woke up Sunday morning, I had, I think, 28 available offers that I could send out to people. So I think I sent out about 20 in total and got a handful of sales off of those. So it would, that really paid off, and it really kind of showed what happens whenever you're listing a bunch of stuff. The interest just went up so fast. In fact, there's a video that I published on Monday where you can see when I talk about the difference in my sales for the first part of the week, and then after I listed that 75 items, which brought my store total from about 350 up to about 380. From 350, it had dropped down. So maybe it was around 330. So it got up close to 400. And the sales just took off crazy. And Sunday was just a really good day for me. So take a look at that video. I'll have that link below as well. You can check that out. Let's get into the worst 5 items from last week. And I'll say not all of them are really bad, but they're the 5 at the bottom. So we're going to talk about those first. There's a really bad one hidden in there, and we'll get to that one. But, this is always a learning experience, learning, what to sell, what not to sell. And there are some things on here that maybe don't make sense from a profit perspective, but I like selling them, so probably going to keep selling some of these things. So we'll talk about that more here in just a few minutes. The 5th worst item sold this week is this Brutalist ashtray trinket dish catch-all thing. Picked this up at a garage sale for 75 cents and sold it for $10.30 on an offer. So that left me with a pre-tax profit of $5.99 or 58%. So the profit margin is actually pretty decent. At $5.99, there's a real fine line there between, you're taking the time to go buy something, you're storing it, you're taking pictures, all the stuff that goes along with selling an item. Are you making money at $5.99? You can pay taxes out of that too. It's debatable. I thought it was a really cool piece. So, I've never seen another one like that. May not ever see another one like that. So I didn't really mind it. It just happened to be the 5th worst of the week. This 4th worst is this Lazy Hippo miniature pewter figurine. My wife picked this up at an estate sale a few weeks ago at this one particular company. For the last 2 hours of their sales on Sunday afternoon, anything that was $20 or under, they sell for $1. And there was a bunch of these little pewter figurines, and my wife bought all of them, I think, plus some other stuff. And this one was in there. So listed it just this past weekend paid $1, listed it for $7.89. I saw people trying to sell some of these for $10.89, $12.89, and the sell-through rate was absolutely horrible on these things. There was like 50 or 60 hippos listed and 1 sold in the past 90 days. So I put mine at what I thought might be a better price to actually get it moving out the door, and somebody bought it a couple days later. So netted $457 pre-tax profit on that, and that's a 58% profit margin again. So decent profit margin, just not a lot of actual profit there in the end. But it's a cool item. I'd probably buy it again just because it's cool, and I'd probably sell it again for $7.89. Probably not a good practice, and someday I may abandon that, but for now I still like doing it. This next item, these playing cards, I got an estate sale for $1 for the bundle. There was some other stuff in the box too. It was just a big kind of assorted box of stuff, and they had these decks of playing cards, so picked them up. There's a bunch of multi-decks of playing cards that we're selling on eBay. Most of them were branded like the Bicycle or the Bee or, Hoyle, just actual brands of cards. These were, a private brand for advertising for this trucking company. So I just put them up for $5.89 plus shipping. They sold in about 2 days, so still made profit, $2.67 pre-tax profit for a 45% profit margin. That one I probably wouldn't buy again. It wasn't something, I'm not real passionate about playing cards or buying them or think they're really cool. It was just in a bunch of stuff that I bought, so I just put them up for sale. The second worst item here, this Nike golf hat. I was on a little bit of a kick buying hats. At the particular point in time, I was buying a bunch of hats retail at Ross to try to flip, which I did flip quite a few, but it was really trying to get into hats, and I saw this at a garage sale for $2 and decided, I didn't even comp it. I was like, well, it's a Nike golf hat. It's a cool color. It's in great shape. So I thought for sure, I can sell this for 15 or 20 bucks, and I couldn't. I tried for quite a while and had no bites, no one making an offer or asking about offers. I sent offers, got nothing, and finally I sent kind of a crazy offer after I lowered the price and sent an offer out for $8.90. Somebody bought it, so I made a 99-cent pre-tax profit, so get to keep about 75 cents out of that for an 11% profit margin. So still made money, but definitely not a good use of my $2. Should have bought some other stuff. But now I know I'm not going to buy those hats anymore unless they're 10 cents a piece or something. All right, and this is this was a fun one. I talked about this in a What Sold video yesterday. Is this vintage striped shirt? I call it I called it the Zach Morris shirt in whenever I wrote my notes down from Saved by the Bell. I saw this shirt at a thrift store, local thrift store. There was tops were 3 for $10, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna sell this for probably like 30 bucks. I took the shirt home, got it listed up, and had it listed for quite a while for like $17.89. Didn't get any bites. $14.89, didn't get any bites, and this has been a few months now. So I lowered it to, I think, $12.89 or $10.89, and finally I sent out an offer for $7.42, and somebody bought it finally. So came in with a pre-tax profit of $2.46 negative $2.46 for a negative 33% profit margin. So I didn't even get all my cash back. I got a little bit of my cash back to go invest in good inventory. So I know now whenever I think something is cool, I need to just double check myself. Some of it may have had to do with the brand. It was a kind of an odd brand shirt that I'd never seen before. But yeah, you live and learn. And so I learned that time. Now this is going to be the fun part. It always is going to be talking about the best 5 sales of the week. The 5th best sale of the week are these tape drawers. I bought these at an estate sale for $1 a piece. I saw them on a bottom shelf and in a living room, and they said, oh, $1 a piece. And I opened them, and they're full of tapes. And I was like, well, I said, I just want the drawers. And they go, no, you have to take the tapes. We don't want the tapes. So, okay. So bought them, sold them for $28.89 plus shipping for a $19.51 pre-tax profit, or a 68% profit margin. Those are the kind of profit margins we like, with that kind of profit attached to it, almost $20. Fun side story on that is almost all the tapes in there had been blank tapes at one time, and they recorded music off the radio, from other tapes, whatever. And I was going to donate them all. And then I thought, I wonder if people, because you don't really buy new cassette tapes, they don't just have them at the store, and blank ones. And so I thought, I wonder if anybody buys used tapes like that have been recorded on to re-record over them. And they do. Of course, I don't know why I even asked myself that question. You can pretty much sell anything on eBay, and pretty much. So I pulled out of those 2 drawers 33 blank tapes. They weren't blank, they've been recorded on, but 33 recorded on tapes, and sold them just yesterday, actually, for $19.89 plus shipping. Which just blew my mind that I was getting ready to donate them, and I just packed them all up in a box and sold them yesterday. So that was a pretty good deal on those drawers. Got to sell the drawers and then sell a bunch of the tapes inside in a lot, and not have to sell things off one at a time. Little fun side story. All right, the 4th best sale of the week was this Salad Master. I think this is a 9-inch. They call it a fry pan or skillet. Has that Vapo spout lid on it. These are great sellers. If you see them and you can get them at a decent price, say sub $10, I'd probably pick them up. So I picked this one up for $5 at a thrift store and sold it for $34.89 plus shipping, for a $21.77 pre-tax profit, or 62% profit margin. This is the second one of these that I've sold. I picked both of them up at thrift stores. I think the last one I paid like $3 for, or $4, something like that. It's been about 6 or 7 months ago, but sold the same one. Salad Master, if you're not familiar with cookware, Salad Master is a great brand. Brand new sets of Salad Master, if you go buy them at the store, like a full set, will cost you upwards of like $700 to $800. It's very high end. It's very heavy. Revereware is very popular, the vintage Revereware with the copper bottom and all that stuff. But if you pick up a Salad Master or like a permanent stainless steel brand, they're really heavy. So they have multi-ply stainless steel. It's good stuff. So definitely watch out for it. And you can tell it kind of by the signature handles and the lid and all that stuff, and it says Salad Master right on it. If you're paying attention for it in the cookware section, you can't miss it. So definitely take a look at that. So if you want to know more about Salad Master and pots and pans in general, I'll put a link down below. I did a whole pots and pans video where it talks about the brands that I've been selling and having good luck with, and my process for cleaning them up after I buy them. If they need cleaning, not everything does, but a handful of items, especially when you get copper bottom type stuff, a lot of times you want to kind of polish that up and make it look its best before you get it listed up. So all right, moving on to the 3rd best sale of the week is this bulk tape eraser, which is interesting. It's a little mechanism. It's basically really strong magnets that you take cassette tapes and you slide them through. I don't know if it works. I imagine it does, if it's something that has music already recorded on it. But especially for blank tapes that you've recorded stuff on, you can slide them through and quickly erase what's on there because of the magnets. It's magnetic strips inside of the tape, the actual tape. So it's just a really cool little unit. I'd never seen one before. I didn't know such a thing existed, but I was at an estate sale and I saw it in the box, and it was $2. Since I didn't know what it was, I decided to learn about it. Took it out of the box, looked at it, scanned it on eBay, and turns out they sell pretty well. There was maybe one other one listed there, but so I bought it, got it listed up, and sold it for $29.89 plus shipping, for a $23.36 profit margin, or a 78% profit margin. So that's getting up into the profit margin there. Love seeing those high 70s for sure, especially at a $30 price point selling. High 70s is just awesome. So getting into the 2nd best sale of the week is this Sony radio. I picked this up at a garage sale for $2, sold it for $39.89 plus shipping, or a $29.02 pre-tax profit margin, 73%, or $29.02 profit, 73% profit margin. This one I spent a little more on shipping, I believe, than I had intended to, so kind of hit me a little bit on the profit margin. I didn't make as much profit as I thought I was going to. And it sold, I'm not remembering, but I think it sold on a promoted listing as well, so that cost me a little bit. And then getting into the best sale of the week. So the best sale of the week is this Revere, not Revere ware, like pots and pans, but Revere. It's their buffet catering line, which I don't think is made anymore. I'm certain of it. But they had some like chafing dishes, and they had this like casserole type dish and all sorts of different stuff at one point. And whenever I saw this at the estate sale, I went to this estate sale all 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I walked by this thing, I don't know, maybe a dozen times or more. And on the third day, I walked by probably 5 or 6 times when my wife was there with me. And I wasn't paying attention to it. It was really dull. The finish was dull. And I was like, I had even picked it up, and it didn't say Revere on the bottom. I just picked it up, and I was like, oh, it's kind of really lightweight stuff. And I just didn't even pay attention to it. And then my wife goes, hey, did you see that dish? And I said, yeah, I've seen it. And she goes, that's Revere ware. And I was like, really? And she goes, yeah, there's a pamphlet inside. And I opened it up, and sure enough, there was a full color on the front, but I think it's black and white inside, pamphlet talking about the whole buffet line of products they had the Revere logo with, the Paul Revere head on it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this. So I took a picture, and I saw a comp that had sold for $70 or $60, and one that had sold for $100. So I had mine listed for a while for $100 and ended up dropping the price a couple times, trying to, get it to move. I got it cleaned up really nice to take, good pictures of it, but ended up selling it for $51.93. So paid $5, sold it for $51.93 for a $45 pre-tax profit, or an 87% profit margin. It's rare to see the 87% profit margins in the stuff that I'm selling, so that was just incredible. Made it a really good sale for the week. But, I was reminded again of why in the world, whenever I'm trying to sell more cookware, would I have not paid a little bit better attention to that and just looked at it? And I don't really have a great answer for that, but I didn't. And luckily my wife was there to knock me over the head a little bit and say, hey, you need to take a look at this. So we picked that up. Well, that's about everything for the week. I really appreciate you watching. If you have any questions or comments, just leave those down below. I'll make sure to get back to you. If you want to see more videos for stuff that sold in past weeks, there's going to be a link right here or here. I don't know what side of the screen it's on, but it's going to be there. So you can check that out. And I'll see you again next week. Thanks.